while I was at his grandmother's house knitting a sweater for our upcoming winter wedding. The man I loved for 3 years was loading my life into a moving truck. He told me he found his destiny in a high school sweetheart he hadn't seen in half a decade. But 5 years later, after a marriage, 2 kids, and a messy divorce, he's back at my door, claiming I was the real one that got away. But here's the thing. I'm finally starting a new life, and I have to decide if I'm his true love or just his backup plan. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all having a good day. Today, we're diving into a post from r/relationship_advice, posted by user throwaway-broken-heart. OP, I never thought I'd be the girl writing one of these. I used to read these stories and think, how could someone be so blind? But here I am. Mark was my everything. He was my first real boyfriend. We were together for 3 years, and those years were the happiest of my life. We were that couple, the ones who actually enjoyed each other's company. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. We supported each other through job changes, and our families were basically one big unit. Our moms were so close they went on walks together every morning. I remember one night so clearly. We took a big, fuzzy blanket out to the backyard, laid down, and just looked at the stars. It sounds like a cliche from a movie, but it was real. I looked at him in the moonlight and thought, this is it. This is my person. I felt so safe. I never imagined that the same man who held me that night would be the one to eventually shatter my heart into a million pieces. About 2 months ago, everything shifted. Mark's high school sweetheart, let's call her Sarah, moved back to town. They had been together for 7 years back in the day, only breaking up because of long distance. Mark told me about her early on. He showed me an email she sent him. It seemed totally normal, just catching up. He asked if he could meet her for coffee, because I'm a secure person, or so I thought. I said yes. I trusted him. But when he came home that day, he wasn't Mark anymore. He was quiet, withdrawn. When I asked how it went, he just shrugged and said, fine. The next few weeks were a nightmare. He was always on his phone. He started picking fights over nothing, like how I loaded the dishwasher or what time I got home. The worst part was the physical distance. I'm a koala hugger. Every day when he got home from work, I'd wrap myself around him. Suddenly, he started recoiling. He'd stiffen up when I touched him. When we were intimate, he wouldn't even look me in the eye. I felt like I was living with a stranger. That Saturday, I went to visit his grandmother. We usually knitted together, and she was like a second mom to me. I spent the whole day there, talking about the wedding and how excited I was. When I got home that evening, I expected to see Mark on the sofa. Instead, I found him in our bedroom, stuffing his clothes into suitcases. My heart didn't just drop. It felt like it stopped beating. He looked at me with this cold, distant expression. He told me he was sorry, but Sarah was his second chance. He said that seeing her made him realize his feelings for me weren't the same. He said he had found himself again with her. I begged him. I'm not proud of it, but I fell to my knees and begged. I told him he was chasing a ghost, a memory of being a teenager with no responsibilities. But he was like a stone wall. At 10 p.m., a truck pulled up. One of his friends was there to help him move. Mark gave me a quick, awkward hug, said he'd pay his half of the rent until the lease was up, and just walked out. I slept in the guest room that night. The silence in the house was deafening. I tried calling him, but it went straight to voicemail. He was gone. The weeks that followed were a blur of tears and canceling wedding plans. My best friend moved in to help me, and my parents were ready to kill him. His own family was disgusted with him. His grandma told me he was a fool and that he'd be back crawling. I didn't believe her. Then 3 weeks later, I got a letter. In the letter, Mark was full of regrets. He said he'd made the biggest mistake of his life. He admitted he was running after a perfect version of his past. He wrote, "She is not you. She doesn't smell like you. I miss your singing. I miss the way you nagged me to clean up." He even said I could date someone else to even the scores if I'd just take him back. But then at the end, he wrote, "I would write more, but I'm on my iPad and it's tiring." I stared at that sentence for an hour. He's begging for his life back, but his finger got tired? That was the first time I felt a spark of anger instead of just sadness. I told his family about the letter. His grandma wanted me to forgive him, but I just couldn't. I unblocked him long enough to tell him to never contact me again. I tried to move on. I moved all the furniture, bought new sheets, and started going to Zumba classes. I was finally starting to feel like myself again. Then, one night at 9 p.m., there was a knock. I looked through the peephole and nearly fainted. It was Mark, and he was standing there with Sarah. I didn't open the door. I could hear him through the wood, pleading for me to just talk. They stayed for 15 minutes. Why was she there? Was he trying to show me they were just friends now? Or was she there to apologize too? It felt sick and twisted. They came back the next night too. I ended up staying with my parents for a week just to feel safe. I felt like a prisoner in my own home because of a man who had already thrown me away. OP. It's been 4.5 years since that night. I never really got over Mark, but I learned to live without him. I heard through the grapevine that he and Sarah got married and had a baby within a year of him leaving me. That hurt more than the breakup itself. The pregnancy math made it pretty obvious that he had been doing more than just talking to her before he left me. But a few days ago, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Mark. He told me he regretted the breakup only 2 months after it happened, but by then, Sarah was pregnant. He said he felt he owed it to his son to try and make it work, so he married her. He said the marriage was a disaster from day one. He claimed she only wanted him for his money, and that they fought constantly. They've been divorced for 6 months now. They have 2 kids together. He told me Sarah is still trying to get him back, but he doesn't want her. He wants me. He told me I was the one he truly loved all along. And guys, I'm ashamed to admit it, but a part of me felt that old pull. But here's the complication. I've started seeing someone new. We've only been on 1 date, but he's sweet, he's honest, and he doesn't have a trail of broken promises behind him. Mark is asking for a second chance, but I'm looking at a man who has 2 children with the woman he left me for. I'm looking at a man who only comes back when his dream life falls apart. Is he actually in love with me, or am I just the only person left who ever truly cared about him? As you can imagine, the Reddit community did not hold back on this one. Now it's time to share some interesting comments. Comment 1. User. Logic over lust. OP, please wake up. He didn't come back to you because he realized you were the one. He came back because his other plan failed. If Sarah had been a perfect wife and they were happy, he would never have sent you that text. You are his safety net, not his soulmate. Also, do you really want to spend the rest of your life dealing with his ex-wife? Because with 2 kids, she will be at every birthday, every holiday, and every graduation. Run. Comment 2. User. Mama Bear, 5'5". I'm a mother and a grandmother. Listen to me. A man who leaves his fiancé weeks before a wedding for an ex is not a man you can trust. He showed you who he was 4 years ago. Believe him. He's tired of his life now, just like he was tired of writing that letter on his iPad. He's a quitter. Don't let him quit on you a second time. Comment 3. User. Bitter truth. The pregnancy math is the real story here. He cheated. He left you because he got her pregnant and tried to make it sound like a star-crossed lover's destiny thing to save face. Now that the destiny involves diapers and child support, he wants his easy life back with you. Don't be the backup prize. Honestly, this post is a masterclass in why we shouldn't romanticize the past. Mark had a good thing, threw it away for a fantasy, and now that the fantasy has turned into a messy reality of divorce and co-parenting, he wants to hit the undo button. But life doesn't have an undo button. OP, you mentioned that a part of you still loves him. That's normal. He was your first love. But you aren't in love with the man standing at your door today. The divorced father of two who's looking for a way out of his own mess. You're in love with the memory of the guy who looked at the stars with you 5 years ago. That guy is gone. He died the moment he put those suitcases in the truck. The fact that he brought Sarah to your door years ago shows he has absolutely no regard for your feelings. He wanted to ease his own guilt by forcing a closure talk on you. He's selfish. He was selfish then. And he's being selfish now by trying to ruin your potential new relationship. My advice? Go on that second date with the new guy. Give him a real chance. Block Mark, not because you hate him, but because you deserve peace. You aren't anyone's second choice. Thank you for being part of this community. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe and don't forget to like this video. Your support and love keep this channel growing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.